Alright, so we're back, and we did just do a whole bunch of stuff on EOS, and to the point where there's almost nothing left there, at least for the moment, outside of the main quest, so we'll probably shift gears here. We could go back to the main quest, but more likely I think we'll go back to the stuff we were doing just before we had what seemed to be a time-sensitive mission on EOS, that being seeking out the other arcs, and potentially loyalty missions as well, and because I believe there's one in particular where those two things overlap with Korra's loyalty mission. That may be next on our list unless... Oh yes, this is the one where we did wrap up all of the actual, if you want to call it different, the main components of this quest. We just need to turn it in, although we might wait before doing that because this is on the Nexus and the main quest is technically going to take us to the Nexus briefly before heading us back over to EOS, or at least that's what we suspect will be the case. So I think what we'll be looking for here is... Why is Addison here? Find more ZK Tracker satellites. They're designed to skim initiative resources, so they may be attracted to the traffic... Oh, right, around outposts, yes. Do remember hearing a little bit about this. Search existing outpost systems or find new outpost opportunities to attract them. Okay, and it is a little annoying how we have to go one system at a time here rather than just going in whatever order we happen to be going from one planet to the next, because I don't remember which major planet is in the Knoll system. I don't remember the name of the systems. But this is the one I was referring to, because it's both Korra's loyalty mission and also, seemingly, the mission tied to the Quarian arc. Quarian arc? Asari arc. The Asari arc, the Lucinia, is still missing. Given Korra's history with Asari commandos, and it's extensive, she has made a point of letting us know about that. She has spearheaded the effort to find the Lucinia and bring it home to the Nexus. Search the Vale system for Arc Lucinia, and I think we saw this as a system that we've not yet been to. It was not available until we learned of this loyalty mission. Okay. So I think that's probably first on our list. Now, granted, that might be a fairly significant thing to just immediately throw ourselves into, an important thing to immediately throw ourselves into, so don't know if we feel like we need a little bit of a warm-up of sorts beforehand. But let's take a quick check over here. I imagine we probably don't have anything for these because, yeah, probably I've not had that counter going in between streams, but should have a little bit more on the strike team side of things because, once again, I have, or at least done what I did last week, which is made it so that we are only doing the gold missions for the Apex missions, because otherwise we just had so many that if we broke everything down, we were going to basically have all the resources we would ever need, and if we sold them all, we would immediately be so rich we would never have to worry about money ever again, which may still prove to be the case. May already be the case, but it's a way to dial back a little bit without feeling like we're completely selling ourselves short after putting in a lot of effort to get a set of perfectly or near perfectly optimized Apex teams to do these missions. Alright, so let's claim them all. And the other thing is that I believe there is at least something that ties that stuff into Andromeda multiplayer, which of course we've not yet done, but I am still hoping to do, I think, relatively soon. I think I've asked for several streams in a row now if we are ready to go into multiplayer without having to worry too much about major enemy spoilers, but the streams in which I have asked those questions, I'm not sure I've posted those yet on YouTube, so may not have gotten feedback from that. I don't think we got feedback live at the time from chat on Twitch. So maybe we'll be looking to do that soon. We did, of course, get at least a little bit of stuffs here, so we'll take a quick look. And we are now a high enough level that we can get level 7 stuff. So that is one difference. What is this level 6 Predator doing here? So I think we might have sold rather than broken down into resources last time, all of our stuff that we acquired, which may be what we look to do here as well, to be honest with you. Because if we aren't already at the point where we don't need any more resources at all anymore, we're pretty darn close to that. Whereas that's not really the case for monies, at least not quite. Let's see, I think we can sell the Eagles. Valkyrie I'm not a huge fan of. Dawn, I think we might have gotten this from... Oh, wait, what? There we go. Excuse me. I have to press it once just to acknowledge the exclamation point. Hey, this is new. Okay, yes, I recognize this is new. That doesn't change the fact that I still want to sell it. But we might have gotten this from our most recent trip to Eos, because I don't remember having seen this all that much. I'm not really sure we've tried it yet. So I might hold on to it for that reason. And we have a bunch of mods. How are we doing on inventory size? Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did not make a committed effort to selling absolutely everything last time, especially with mods. Wait, Hesh? Is that the same name as the Ultra Rare? No. Okay. I was gonna say, definitely feel like we've seen that name, but for a second I thought that it just magically increased rarity as it became higher level. Like Falcon, I thought this was the first assault rifle that we started using from the kit, and I thought this was an uncommon, not a rare. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to hold on to most of our augmentations, because that is something we may still want to modify when we potentially craft a just higher level version of our current tech-centric gear. But we may also choose to craft a new, more biotic-centric set of gear, because we have now set up some favorites. We've set up some favorites that allow us to more... Wait, Zalkin is what... Okay. Some of these names, they may not actually be similar, but for some reason in my brain, they are interchangeable. Zalkin is the one that I was confusing with the one that I was just saying I didn't think was a rare. Zalkin and Thawkin, same thing. Same thing in my brain, apparently. Okay, so yeah, let's just sell some of these things, because yeah, I don't think we necessarily sold the weapon mods and lower rarity stuffs last time, so we started to accumulate a little bit more of that in our inventory. Although it's not about to get full, I'd like to have a little more wiggle room there so we can just go out on a long expedition and not worry about that in the least. But yeah, we may still update the augmentations on our tech armor if we choose to... Not the skill. Tech-centric boosted armor. If we just create a higher level version of the same type of thing we're using right now, or we might create a more biotic-centric set, because we do have now the favorites, which allow us to more quickly and easily change between a tech-oriented set of skills and a biotic-oriented set of skills, so that way we would kind of like to have some gear, to at least have the option to use gear that is more biotically focused, because there's a pretty noticeable difference at the moment between how much tech damage we're dealing and how much biotic damage we're dealing. Maybe it just so happens that the tech skills we chose are better than the biotic skills that we chose in terms of pure damage. That may be the case. Flamer, at least in Mass Effect 3, is really good for damage. So maybe that's the underlying reason, and less so the whole armor thing, but certainly it would help. Certainly it would at least help to have higher level armor, and armor that is biotically focused. Granted, we cannot switch quickly from one set of armor to another. I think we can only do that when we are entering into a planet, and so we'd have to proactively decide, for the most part, which one we are thinking about using before we head in, which is, maybe a little more difficult to execute on that, because it does mean we can't efficiently switch between the two while we are still on the same planet. We have to commit to gear that supports one type of stuff and not the other. Okay, and at this point, should be doing reasonably well, I would think. Just deleting things, selling things that either we clearly have duplicates of, or are just types of mods that I don't really care about, or at this point we might be getting where they're such low level that we just sell them because they're weak enough that they wouldn't really do us much good anyway. But that's a little risky because I'm not paying close enough attention from this menu. It's not super clear, you know, do we have a level 7 version of pistol receiver, or is level 6 the highest we have, in which case maybe we do want to keep this. Okay, think we're just about there. Now we're getting to, yeah, crafting resources. Okay, so that's a whole lot of monies. That is a whole lot of monies, and that's just from, I mean, maybe a little bit left over from our trip to Eos, but primarily, I would assume, from that set of stuff that we just got from the Apex missions, which I think was, when we're doing just the golds over the course of an entire week, about 40 or so boxes. Don't quote me on that. But, I mean, that's still should be much less than what we would have gotten had we sold all of our stuff when we were doing every single mission every week, which was about 120 boxes. So, again, trying to just find the right balance of all that stuff. But okay. So I think, unless there is something that is relatively simple, straightforward, maybe something kind of quick that we could use to get warmed up a bit, rather than going absolutely straight into what is probably a very high-stakes mission for Korra's loyalty mission and the way in which we are hoping to rescue the Asari, you know, I don't really want to mess that one up. And I can't remember for Liam's mission if there were branching decisions that we made that would have potentially dictated what the results of the mission was going to be. Like, thinking back to Mass Effect 2 loyalty missions, there absolutely were ones that, if you made the wrong decision, you could fail the mission, or at least fail to acquire the loyalty of your squad mates. So, for all intents and purposes, the main reason why you started that mission in the first place was for naught. And so that could be the case for both the loyalty of Korra and also the fate of the Asari, and that's a lot. That's a lot. So, don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but if it is, then that is reason to approach with a little bit of caution. So let's see if... is there anything else here? More straightforward variety. I mean, currently we're landed on Eos, or right next to Eos. There's not much left there. And it feels like if we do go to an entirely different planet, then we're going to find ourselves in a similar situation that we found, the ones that we found ourselves in several times before, where we say, oh, we're just going to do 1 or 2 missions here. There's one important thing we want, and then we're going to head back over and do other stuff. And then inevitably, we get stuck on that planet doing a bunch of things, get sidetracked, and stay there for multiple hours, which totally is not what just happened on Eos. And by that I mean it's exactly what just happened to us on Eos. One thing I could think of would be the Nexus, again, but since we have the main quest there, I feel like that has potential to draw us into a whole bunch of things, and potentially even force our hand into things. Like, maybe when we step on the Nexus, we will immediately get pulled into stuff and have no way of avoiding it, even if we just want to have little conversations with people for non-main quest-related tasks. So you know what? Sure, we'll do it. We'll just go straight in. And we'll hope that we don't get thrown absolutely straight into the fire when we are doing this one. At Duty's Edge. Okay. What could possibly go wrong, right? Maybe it's worth taking a quick chat with Korra, seeing if she has anything else to say. We probably made a point of doing that a fair bit with squad mates recently, though I feel like for some reason, Korra in particular, we may have not spoken with. For some reason, I don't recall when the last time we chatted with her just on the Tempest was. It was like, these guys all over here. Simple, straightforward. Very often we just briefly poke our head over there and check to see if they have anything new to say after finishing what seemed to be a relatively major mission. But for those who are located a little bit more remotely, that may not always be the case. We may just kind of assume that one person's generic answer implies that other people will also have generic answers, and therefore we just don't even bother checking the rest of the ship when perhaps they do have more to say to us.
Ryder?
I mean, I guess we could get the latest on the Asari arc from her. I'm pretty sure she said the same thing about this every time we've asked her, but just to be absolutely certain, because we're obviously about to do this.
How's the search for the Asari arc going?
Those nav points are set. I'm ready if you are.
Well, that's the question we are asking ourselves right now, but I guess, sure, why not?
See you later, Cora.
I'll be here.
Okay. We checked this recently? I feel like we haven't. What's this? Comparative Religious Study Meetup. We did these on the Nexus, and they were always fun and interesting. Bring your own texts to study. Or just come listen to others discuss theirs. Sign up below when we have a rotation for coffee. Suvi. Okay, not terribly surprised to see that Suvi is the one initiating this conversation, as she had said previously that her faith was important to her. So it's Jal and it's Callow, who are the two who have signed, I guess, expressing interest. Then Angaran word of the day, Vesagara. Vesagara, noun, uprooted people, used to speak impolitely of those from the Milky Way. Ah, okay. Say Vesagara. Not as bad as it could be. Spelled like it's sneered. What? From Liam? It is used mostly by the Rokar. To be fair, one doesn't get more uprooted than being a galaxy away. Jal. Is it Vesagara or Vesagara? Suvi. Thanks, Jal, for teaching the entire team what technically might be a, not so nice word to say. Perhaps not the best one to just be throwing around the ship. Okay. Well, let's head out. I think we're ready. And by that I mean I have no idea if we're ready. We did, of course, as I think we just saw the second dot on there ever so briefly, we did, of course, recently do the second of our archetype fights thus far. I'm assuming it seems like that means there's basically going to be an architect fight on every planet. We, of course, did one on Eladin a little while ago, which was just very odd, the way that it was an absolute afterthought. And the game, it felt like maybe just assumed that that was going to be one of the last ones you would encounter, and so at that point it was like, been there, done that, we know what an architect is, don't need a big explanation about, whereas this one on Eos, where, of course, it being the first planet that we ever went to, or at least after the tutorial, this one felt a lot more like this was meant to be the introduction to architects. Although in this occasion, we were actually on the appropriate difficulty, which was, I don't believe, the case when we were on the Eldon architect, so this one was a lot harder, but it felt more like it was the appropriate level of difficulty. It felt more significant, rather than, the difficulty also, or lack of thereof, making it feel like it was an afterthought on the Eldon one. Okay, so here is the system with Cora's loyalty mission in it. Just doing a quick double check. I think we have now 100%ed everything else, right? Unless something else has popped up in the meantime, because, we were just saying, maybe we do a little bit of a warm-up before we jump in, and that could be a way to make that happen, but doesn't really look like there's anything here that we have not already done. So, okay, let's head over. That means it's the only system right now that is at 0%. So I know there might be stuff as soon as we pop in here. Maybe we'll get some kind of message. It is in a unique area, which perhaps means it'll be kind of like... Liam's mission thus far is the only loyalty mission that we've done. That one did have a unique location.
Not many signals out here. Even that random radio noise we get from the Scourge is quieter. Eerie.
So that's really the only...
Anomaly on sensors.
That's not surprising. It's really the only thing that I can... I assume it's this little dot. Only thing I can compare it to
Probe away.
is
This
Liam's
Cora's
mission.
nav point?
That doesn't look great. Okay, so maybe before we actually go there, let's check all the planets. And then we'll finish on that.
Anomaly detected.
Alright, let's see. This is Masid. So this is the furthest out planet. No atmosphere. Actually, warmer than I would have thought, given all that. Platinum and cobalt form the outer layer of Masid's surface, pitted and cracked by innumerable meteor strikes. Of course, it is on exactly the opposite side.
Deploying probe. Tracking a huge mineral deposit.
Alright, given how you were mentioning some much more valuable metals, I got my hopes up a little bit. I guess we'll settle for some very common aluminum. Okay. So it seems like this system, I mean, it is at the edge of the area. So it does seem quite remote, and this is unnamed. So that would perhaps make some sense. Might not be as frequently visited. Trace atmosphere. Still, not that cold, so maybe this star is extremely powerful. POS 16 travels in a synchronous orbit around its sun, leaving one side always lit and the other always dark. Okay, the reason for this is unclear, but a threat of scourge within its path is suspect. I mean, that happens. I've heard there's a name for that phenomena, which is very common, and we've probably seen it a bazillion times already in Mass Effect, and I really should know it, and I do, but I'm currently forgetting it, so excuse me for that. But, tidally locked. Tidally locked. Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't understand or at least don't have a good understanding of the astrophysics behind it, but for some reason I think it happens far more often for planets that are very close to their parent star. So for that to be happening for a planet that is pretty far out is a little unusual in a way. And then we have Fostan. Alright.
Anomaly on sensors.
There's an anomaly here. So Fostan has an atmosphere, which is saying something relative to everyone else, and temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. I mean, that's only the basics, but that's something. Fostan is largely barren, but its atmosphere is theoretically capable of producing rainfall. Powerful, localized storms could appear as often as 3 or 4 times a year. Okay. How powerful are we talking? Are we talking, like, so powerful that you never want to be anywhere on this planet just because if one of those storms ever pops up, you're done for? Or is this one of those storms?
Probe away. Getting a scan.
No, it's just a large river. I mean, the fact that there is liquid water, in fact, I mean, okay. Maybe I'm being rather dismissive and underselling that, but the fact that there is liquid water is actually a very big deal. A violent and recent rainstorm must have occurred to create this river. The water will be absorbed or evaporated soon. Okay, we'll get some experience for it, though. Alright, then Hippal. Very orange. Nothing to scan. No atmosphere. Super hot. Much of Hippal's molten surface solidifies during the northern and southern hemisphere's short winters, reshaping the landscape every year. That's pretty cool. That's pretty metal, if you know what I mean. Alright, so that is everything outside of the actual arc. So again, assuming that this is going to be similar to Liam's mission in that it will take us to a unique location where we will actually be on the ground talking to people and or fighting people And at least with Liam's, there was a lot of combat. I mean, if we're thinking back to... That's, again, the only thing we can compare to at the moment, because we have only done that in Andromeda thus far, but if we're thinking back to Mass Effect 2 loyalty missions, then there were some missions that actually had no combat at all in them. Is that going to be the case for some of these in Andromeda? No idea, but I suppose we can't necessarily rule that out. Do we wish to embark on the mission? Yes, let's do it. Okay, so obviously, we're going to take Cora. I think that means that for our other squad mate, we need to make sure that we're taking somebody else who does not charge in to enemies, because as we've seen on prior occasions, in fact, was it this exact combo? It might have been, that has caused us a lot of trouble in the past, because they both, in Cora's case, charge, and Jaal's case, use Shadow Strike, and then they're right next to their opponents, and they don't have the wherewithal to avoid getting destroyed. And we potentially get stuck running back and forth, reviving them nonstop, and never actually attacking the enemy, and making the situation any easier for us. It's just perpetually, it's, you know, there's no progress made. So I think that means we're adding either Drac or Vetra, and, I mean, maybe PB. This is the Asari arc we're talking about here, so that feels like that'd be the most thematically fitting, even if PB's, you know, a bit of a rebel, and maybe, even if she is an Asari, might not be one to feel all that closely tied to the fate of the Asari arc. Alright, then... do we want to... I assume the mods here are still pretty decent. And again, we were talking about maybe swapping around, getting a set for biotically focused bonuses, but now is probably not the best time to be doing... Oh, obviously, it's also too late to be crafting that at the moment. But then... shield capacitors, back of life support. I don't know if there's any chance that there are things that are going to actually be environmental hazards here, but who knows? Maybe. So this is probably still the most well-rounded set here, and then Cobra RPG gives us an out in case things go terribly, terribly wrong for some reason. I assume we won't be using the Nomad here at all, so I think we're good to go. As for what's going to happen, I have no idea.
We're approaching the nav points Cora found. Something's there. It might be an arc, but the damn Scourge isn't helping.
Sam, help out with sensors.
Hard to believe the Lucinia could survive in all this.
Yeah, so then talking about the fate of the Asari, because we haven't really talked about it from that angle, and how it relates to what's happened with the Solarians and the Turians. So the Solarians, they're being attacked and harvested by the Ket. We, for the most part, were able to intervene and hopefully prevent much of the damage there, whereas on the Turian side, they basically, crashed into some scourgy stuff, and very few people were able to escape. They had many people who were still in cryopods, and so we tried to rescue those people, and we lost the Pathfinder, but we had someone else who took the Pathfinder's place. So, made the most out of a bad situation there, but for the most part, seems as though the Turians are at least in as good shape as they could be in at this point. So, is it gonna be better news for the fate of the Asari, or is it gonna be even more of just non-stop issues we run into? Also, it is kind of funny seeing Callow's animation here is not that long, and then once the animation ends, then it's very obvious where the next loop begins. But alas. Well, and now I'm waiting for it to happen again. So I see now the corner. Was that it? Nah. He did a weird thing with... Okay. Never mind. Tactical analysis. What's going on?
Why would the Asari Ark be here?
Might be lost or looking for something. Sarissa will have plans for those decimation hunters. Wrote the manual on crisis situations.
The commando you mentioned. You still believe she'll save the day?
Sarissa was a legend even before she was the Pathfinder's bodyguard. She'll have a plan.
Okay.
Aha! Detecting an initiative vessel.
Oh. That sounds theoretically encouraging. I mean, the fact that we found the Ark itself is, of course, encouraging, I suppose.
Reading life signs. And minimal power. Multiple hull breaches. She's a wreck.
Okay, but you say there are life signs there. Now, of course, we saw the Ket attack the Solarians, so that does not necessarily mean that we're in the clear just yet. She is intact is not entirely accurate, because there are hull breaches.
If she's space-worthy and her crew's alive, that's all we need. Callow, take us in.
I'll try. Must be one docking bay still holding together.
Alright, but I think we're gonna start to find out what exactly it was that caused these issues. Obviously, Scourge, but basically, were Kett, or presumably not Rokar. Are they involved in any way? Okay, so this is, I mean, already looking a bit like the Turian rescue mission, because we were actually on the Ark in that one, whereas let's, were we, I guess we were hopping back and forth between the Solarian Ark and the actual Kett ship before. Do we have a map? We do. Okay. So, reach the bridge. Let's check skills-wise. Do people have a whole bunch of skill points unallocated? Yes, although it's probably because for Korra, we've not been able to allocate all the way up to rank 6, which should change, assuming that we succeed here. Whereas on PP's side, I think she has even more remaining because same restriction there, can't go to level 6, but we've deliberately been holding back on pull because I do not trust the AI to do this effectively. If we've learned anything from the AI charging straight into humongous enemies and getting themselves either sync killed very quickly or just unable to get themselves out of trouble after doing that, probably going to be a similar story with pull, where they're just going to pull enemies right in front of us and not be able to actually do anything meaningful to shut those people down. Okay, so I think we're
aboard.
We're aboard.
Response to comms?
Nothing. Maybe their sensors are busted.
Alright. Oh, and we are currently on our biotic set by the looks of things, which I'm not really sure is the direction we want to be going in here. I think we want to be focusing... Oh, we were also experimenting with my other setup. I forgot. The one that we only very briefly... Or we were building up toward, and we tested out. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to work. The, what was that one? The Annihilation Dancer. So we're back to this one. The tech one is the Stealth Oven, I think, is what I said. Nova Cobra for the Biotic one, and then the Annihilation Dancer, which unfortunately I don't think is really going to work. Okay, should we be scanning stuff? In general, I feel safer when we are armed and ready to go.
Mess. No one sweeps up for guests anymore.
Apparently not.
Hello? Anyone? We're here to help.
Korra?
Just advertise where we are.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
Keep it down
the
a little bit.
point, PB.
Not necessarily sure that's a good thing, though. Interior integrity, 41% salvageable. Tag for engineering crew. This debris appears to have collapsed during the interior firefight, you say? That's telling. So not just damage from a crash, but also some kind of fight. Which suggests that we are not, I mean, we already know we're probably not alone, but it's not just Asari in here. It's something else as well. Internal standard, same description.
It's locked down.
No, it's out of power.
Okay. So again, first thought is Kett, so I don't really know who else would be attacking. This is basically Kett. Out.
Getting decompression.
Boss.
Cat monsters.
Oh,
We're not Cat, we're a Pathfinder team.
Ryder, Lieutenant Harper, and Sam, just send her our ident codes.
Confirmed. Sorry. I'm Captain Atandra, of what's left of the Lucinia.
okay.
Come up to the bridge. Maybe you can help fix this mess.
There's a person. There's a person. So that's a thing. Or by person I mean Asari.
Someone's jumpy.
Yeah. So rather quick to pull the trigger on us. Navigational holo display. Secondary navigational console. Imminent display failure due to power constraints. Data type not recognized. This navigation console is displaying nav data that does not match the initiative standard charting. Source unknown. That's weird. Getting their info from other sources? I mean, they said Ket. So, I mean, that just about confirms that they crashed, they got attacked by the Ket, they had to fight off the Ket, and apparently some of them succeeded, at least temporarily, in holding them off, because that was, said the captain. Now, captain does not equal pathfinder. Captain is the person who was in charge of getting the ship here in the first place. But once they are here, captain is not really as important.
Action. No bodies, though.
Whatever happened left the captain a little trigger happy.
Yeah.
If the Tempest looked like this, how would you feel?
Not great. Not great. Okay, status report. Power distribution efficiency, 9%. That's not a great number. Drive core, offline. That's definitely not good. Life support function, 83%. I mean, certainly would like that to be at 100, but it's much higher than the other numbers, at least. Critical damage report, deck 12, compartments 34 through 38B. Critical damage report maintenance, compartment 88. Critical damage report hull impacts, panel 22, 46 through 69, 80, and 98. So a little more context. I assume this is probably just going to say the same thing. Yeah. Firefight in more than one way, in this case. Crew complement. Okay. Bridge crew, 2 out of 7. I think we saw... Oh, no. That's the only number that is not a 0. Oh, dear. I was going to say, we saw 2 people in that little display when we were talking to the captain, and then one person behind her who was at some kind of console, and that got me a little hopeful that there would be additional people, but if it's only those 2, then that's not good news. Everyone gone in maintenance crew, security team, medical team, engineering team. I mean, we know that in total, there should be on the order of 20,000 people in cryopods, and obviously, these numbers with the denominators are nowhere near 20,000, so there may still be a whole lot more who are safe is maybe not exactly the word that I would use, but temporarily unaffected by, or not immediately threatened by the current situation. Caution, key systems critically understaffed. Advice against civilian stasis revival. Exactly. Revise immediate revival of vital personnel. Override authorization from Theris S. Comment, families first, Sam. What? Override confirmation, Sam Lucinia. Comment, immediately, Pathfinder. Huh? I mean, they lost a whole bunch of people. They have a bunch of people still in cryo, but they can't afford to bring a bunch of people out because, of course, they can't sustain a significant population of people when they are in a wrecked ship with nowhere else to go and basically no resources to work with. But they could at least replace the critical staff who might find a way to fix the current situation. But then why are they saying families first? What about critical staff? I mean, sure, like, informing family members of what happened here might make you feel good, but at the same time, if those people are not the most relevant ones to contribute toward righting this current situation, then I don't agree with that assessment, that recommendation. Okay, they might be in here. It's definitely lots of cover. So I absolutely, and I saw a medkit back there as well. So I am expecting for us to be fighting on our way out here in all likelihood.
But you'd vent a Pathfinder team into space?
Respectfully, yes. We can't take any more chances.
Excuse me? Care to say that to our face?
Sarissa Theris, Pathfinder.
Ah.
Don't mind the captain. Scolding me eases her blood pressure.
Okay, well, I mean, if there are only 2 people left, and those 2 people are the captain and the Pathfinder, theoretically, that's probably the most important 2 people on the ship for the overall purposes of the furtherance of the initiative. Now, are those 2 people capable of, with just those 2, righting this ship, fixing it up, and getting it space-worthy so they can actually get back to the Nexus? Almost certainly not. So, Cora is your biggest fan, this is true. But, Pathfinder, not bodyguard. Oh, we have heard the name Sarissa. Yes, we were talking about this before. But yes, we did previously hear that name in context of being the bodyguard for the Pathfinder, which, given how she's introducing herself as Pathfinder, to me implies that the Pathfinder, original Pathfinder, is dead, and the bodyguard has now taken her place, somewhat similarly to what happened in the case with the Turian arc.
Ryder, I hadn't heard you were the Asari Pathfinder.
The last we knew, ma'am, Matriarch Ashara was Pathfinder with you acting as her Tiamna. I served with Asari commandos, ma'am. Memorized all your battle manuals.
Matriarch Ashara is dead. Sarissa was next in line. Her battle manuals haven't kept the cat off my ark.
Okay. Well, we're here to save you. Please give us the facts.
What happened? Why are the Ket after you?
Matriarch Ashara died trying to negotiate with those Ket bastards. So I took something precious from them, too.
Yeah, negotiation.
I stole a
Maybe
module
not the best
containing
choice.
tactical data. All their secret routes through this phenomenon.
Okay, that's where they got that data that we were noticing
We call
before.
it the Scourge, ma'am. If we could outmaneuver the Ket through it.
We'd stand a better chance against them.
That'd be very valuable, for
Their
sure.
Archon had the same thought. He sent his elite agent, the Valiant, and his decimation hunters after us.
Okay, that has to be...
We take more damage each time we escape the Valiant. The last assault, he sent forces to board us. Sarissa's theft has made things problematic.
Yeah, so this Valiant person must be another Cardinal. Is that the name for the guys who have the orb that gives them the shield that we fought several of at this point? So, are there currently Ket on board? That is something that we should probably know immediately if that is the case.
How many boarders are we talking about?
We're not sure, but for now, they're contained down there. We couldn't do more. We spent our resources evacuating civilians. The Valiant wants Sarissa to pay.
They're still there? Like, I was expecting to say, oh yes, there were X number roughly before, but we've at least gotten rid of, fought off this phase of Ket, but who knows when they'll show up next and in what number. But no, you're like, oh yeah, no, they're still here. We just locked them up somewhere. So, that's not great news. Then again, with just 2 people defending this place at the moment, I can't say I'm terribly surprised that you chose not to face them in open combat, otherwise the numbers would not be in your favor. But, let's see. So, yeah, how do we feel about this whole, she took a big risk, stealing some important information about the Scourge from the Archon / the Ket. And yes, that could be helpful to us if we are able to actually get that to the initiative as a whole. But it made the Ket angry, and now that is one of the main reasons why they are being very aggressive in the way that they are trying to take down the Ark here. So it's basically one of those high-risk, high-reward things where if it pays off, it's great, and if it doesn't, then you're in serious trouble. So as things currently stand, it doesn't look good. But if we can right the ship, both metaphorically and physically, then it could pay off.
Pathfinders have to take risks, Captain. I've taken my share.
God has preserved me.
What would it take to get the Ark out of here before this Valiant catches up again?
An FTL burn long enough to lose him. But since the evacuation, we've been stuck at minimal power. The drive core is dead.
Did see that,
My people
yeah.
are investigating, but those systems are below deck, with the Ket borders.
Okay.
Another Pathfinder team could back them up.
Get power for the drive core.
Your people implies you have
Sam and I
more
will
people on
finish
here, which was not clear
deciphering the
before.
Ket data. We'll turn the Valiant's escape routes against him.
Okay.
First rule, always know your escape plan.
The last commando report came from hangar control. I'll give you access. Please be careful.
Was really hoping she was saying Hanar control. That would have made my day. But okay, so there are other Asari here, it seems like. They're just in a different section, and it's where the Ket are. And that's where they're sending us. So that's lovely. But I suppose in many ways that is how we can be most helpful here. So we are expecting that we'll have that Cardinal, who will probably be the most difficult enemy of this area, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? Either way, we are about to get ourselves into a bit of trouble.
Pathfinders take risks. They really do. Matriarch Ashara, your father, Reka for the Solarians, even Barrow on the Turian Ark. We roll the dice and...
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, sometimes we win. Come on. The sooner we find those commandos, the better.
it's not as if venturing off to an entirely different galaxy was not a big risk to begin with. Comparatively speaking, this is actually a relatively minor risk compared to intergalactic travel. Look for Asari commandos in the hangar control. Okay, so are we gonna have to try to rescue as many as possible here or something like that? We'll see. Let's arm ourselves. Probably. You know that the first enemies that are gonna show up are gonna be cloaked
Was it
wraiths.
this quiet when the Arks were traveling through dark space?
Quieter. They weren't busted up back then.
The Lucinia will be back to normal once we get her to the Nexus.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. I'd love to share your optimism. But at the moment, not necessarily sure I can. Also, I mean, yes, the Black Widow does have the mod that gives us the augmentation that gives us the extra damage when our cartridge is full, so I guess we'll still stick with this even if it's not really a sniper rifle situation we currently find ourselves in. Alright, Hanar control. We're gonna assume this is actually Hanar control, so I'd like to believe that's the case. Maintenance log. Log technician Sadie. I don't know if we've heard that name. It sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't know. Alright, let's see. Ergonomic adjustment. Install driver updates. Ergonomic adjustment. Request filed for Ops Manager Tefina to learn about seat levers. Captain's request. Override for Hanar door access. I agree. Give the Hanar better access through the doors. Override for launch permissions. Got a dozen escape pods launched today. Oh yeah, they did say that they, or at least implied, that they got several groups of people who successfully escaped. Don't know where they went, but hopefully they find a way back to the Nexus. Alright, launch is complete. Reinstalling Hanar door accesses. Investigate repeated false alarms from Hanar doors after reinstall. Not a false alarm! Seal all doors!
Someone overrode the hangar doors, then tried to seal them in a hurry.
Indecisive,
They were trying to get people out, but then they ran into Ket, presumably, and so they tried to seal the doors in behind the Ket. I would like these mods that are currently on the ground there. Is there pistol melee stun mods, by the looks of things? Oh, we should probably have this out again, though. This looks like a battle arena. Probably. Maybe.
Here we are. Hangar control.
Hanar control. Look for the commandos here. Sorry, Ark is still missing. Kinda, sorta, but not really anymore. Okay. That doesn't really help us all that much. There are several additional floors here, by the looks of things. Just a quick glance at the corner of my eye at the map there. I guess makes sense, because, yeah, that does check out. This is the console. Oh,
Hey, look.
that's a person.
We might have a friend.
Must be part of Sarissa's team.
Right now, chances this person is, like, terribly mind-controlled somehow by the Ket and is actually going to betray us by setting off some kind of alarm that's going to send the Ket flooding this way, or she's going to panic and scream, and that's going to alert the Ket to us, and so then we're going to have to immediately fight, and she's going to die in the process. I'd give it about a 50-50.
Stop. In the name of the goddess, I'll...
Shoot your rescuers.
Rescuers? And humans? Your Ark made it?
Just about. I'm Ryder, the human pathfinder. This is my team.
We do have more than
Daria
this, but...
Damali, Sarissa's new second in command. Sorry about the mix-up. I hope I can help.
You do kind of seem like a rookie of sorts, you know, but we need some power. We need some power.
The captain says we need to restore power to go to FTL.
Also, we should
Right.
probably
Yes.
restore,
I've tracked the power drain.
repair any
I
hull
think
breaches and
shutting
what
the
have you,
Hannery
otherwise we'll
doors
rip
was
this thing in two.
The Ket
or
forced
in a
the
bazillion
doors
pieces.
open, and the safeties are draining power trying to shut them.
Okay. Maybe Sam can help us? Why jam them open?
Why keep the hangar bays open? There's no ships around.
I think the Ket are trying to reach the bridge. Ket can survive in vacuum for a little while. If we shut
What?
the doors, the Valiant's pet hunters lose their last escape route too. I pray the power will be enough for FTL.
Vidaria, I served as a huntress. Remember
But she has
Sarissa's
to tell them,
manuals.
her to, of course.
Breathe, purpose, action. Breathe.
Okay. Please take a look at the console. I'll keep watch.
Alright. Anything else here? Oh, probably just more broken stuffs from a firefight. Yep. Okay. Nope. Probably the same here. Are we even getting research data from that? No. Okay. So that's not a big deal. As for that, though, that could be.
Starting hangar door closure sequence.
Oh. Yep.
We've got this. Cover the console while Sam works. Nice steady fire. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hello. Well, hello, guy who literally spawned on top of me.
Hangar door closure at 21%.
Okay. Thanks, Sam. I don't remember. I think we may have established that we... Oh, that's an unfortunate place for you to throw a grenade. We may have established that we cannot shoot through that.
Console online. Stay within its range.
Yep, I know. Can't shoot through cover with our laser weapons. I see that Wraith. And by I see that Wraith, I mean, I know the Wraith is invisible, but it is in this general area. But I've lost where exactly it went. There is a dude here, though. Oh, there it is. Unfortunately, apparently.
Closure at 53%.
Oh, okay, hello. Apparently, you were hanging out over there. Ow. Oh, you're a minigun dude.
Console
Ow.
activated. You'll need to stay in range.
Yeah, I know. Stop throwing grenades over here, dude. I don't appreciate that.
Hangar door closure at 77%.
Oh yeah, is our new Asari pal also helping us out? Hello, other invisible Wraith. I mean, in theory, I think she's over there to the right.
Closed and locked. Cat access is cut off.
Okay, so now the, theoretically, waves of enemies are going to stop and should be a finite number from here on out. Hopefully not that much long. Oh, hello. Much longer.
Okay, that should have done it.
Theoretically.
Where's our damn power for FTL?
Vidaria? Let's ask her.
What was that?
What was that?
I estimate that several of the Ark's electrical junctions just overloaded.
Ah,
Shit. Vidaria?
guys don't have circuit breakers on this thing? Where'd she go?
Vidaria's down by that maintenance panel.
Okay, yeah, she did flee, but I'm now just checking to see if any of those enemies dropped loot, because usually there'd be at least some of that. This is also our first time checking up the higher elevation, which does not seem to be much up here at the moment, other than significantly better cover. Angles, what have you. May find ourselves going through some of these doors in the future, or at least looting this. Not that that's gonna be a huge difference maker, but okay. So you have to imagine that's not gonna be the only fight we have here, because we're definitely gonna end up fighting the, what was the name? Valiant's name of the major enemy we're expecting to run into here at some point.
Vidaria, Sam says we lost some electrical junctions.
I know. The
It's a very
overload
technical
started
way
a fire.
of
Damn it, that shouldn't have
inaccurately
happened.
describing that.
Be calm, soldier.
Or
What could have
attempted
made
way
him
to
over?
describe.
If there's something else draining power on the lower decks, something big,
Oh yeah, they're mining their Bitcoin down on the lower deck. Is actually what they're doing. That stuff is energy intensive. Little do they know that the market's about to crash, but let's see. Let's focus on fixing this. Could be Ket sabotage. I mean, both of those things are true.
Maybe the decimation hunters rigged something up.
I wouldn't put it past those wretches. Those Ket, they must be watching us. If they delay the repairs long enough, the Valiant ship catches up.
Okay. Be fast. Any way to hold them off while we do our stuff?
If we're quick and efficient, we can outmaneuver them.
Okay. First thing is the last stasis pods. I'll go check on them. You could go below, look for whatever's draining power, and maybe help with the fire.
Which way to the lower decks?
We're good at setting fires, not putting them out.
The living quarters. I'll open maintenance access. You can cut through.
Sure you
Good
want to
luck.
do that? When there are
May
Ket
the Ket
all over the
wither in
place?
the void before you.
Alright, go below decks through the living quarters. Which is apparently not over here. It is through here. Okay.
Ryder, it's Sarissa. We got some power, then a damage report. What happened?
An accident. We're fixing it.
All right, go forward. We'll keep prepping the drive core.
Okay.
We won't let you down, ma'am.
Of course not, Lieutenant. Sarissa out.
Yeah, just gonna repeat the whole, if we do not fix the hull breaches, doing any sort of travel at all really is going to rip the ship into a bazillion pieces. In fact, we are technically still moving right now, aren't we? We're just going very slowly because we can't activate FTL without more power. Which also does not really make sense. Okay, same idea there. Hey, do we need to spec, what is it, like cryo beam or something like that? Rather than flamer for this one? Feels like that might be more fitting. Get our fire extinguishers going. Oh no, I assure you, there is more meaningless debris for us to scan here. A little bit of a sound there. More meaningless debris. What is this? That did give us research.
Not any Thessian animal, that's for sure.
Trace amounts.
Great.
Keratin sheddings. Ammonia, nitrates, bacteria, likely from metabolic waste reinforced to carry approximately 60 kilograms. Damage tracking, multiple minor scratches. These cages were likely used to transport large animals. Okay, we talking like wraiths? So those would not be from Thessia, the Asari homeworld. Or are we talking something bigger and meaner that we've not yet seen, in which case, ruh-roh. What is this? Evacuation orders. From Lamazia Perrin? I don't think we've heard that name before. An emergency situation is in effect aboard the Ark, and evacuation is now necessary. When signaled, please go immediately to Seat 06 in Escape Pod 202. If you do not report within 10 minutes, your seat will be reassigned. Checklist. Emergency kit, rations, breather mask, lights, personal heater, suit sealant, compass, beacon, water distillation kit, Omni tool with full battery pack, any essential medication. Do not take personal items. Do not wait for family members.
An evacuation order. Someone must have dropped it.
I would too if the Ket were on my heels.
Okay, I do see this. More meaningless debris. More meaningless debris, you know it. All of which is 41%. Yeah, we've seen that. Oh, you've got the classic horror movie sound effects of some kind of large, mysterious, rumbling sound coming from some kind of ducts that sounds like it's, some kind of alien-like creature skittering through. Which, given how we know there is some stuff here that has perhaps escaped from containment, is relevant. Gives me
It's pitch black down here.
a little
Watch your
bit
step.
little bit of vibes of the Asari Monastery mission in Mass Effect 3, which is one of my favorite missions from Mass Effect 3, in part because there's also the bit of a horror aspect to that. There very much is a horror aspect to that. Kind of is here as well, where it's very dark. As I said, the music is kind of emphasizing that as well. The whole growing dread of the maybe there's some kind of monster here that's gonna, you know, pop out and cause us grievous harm in the near future. Broken door, which gave us research data, sure. Arclusinia door, twisted at 16-degree angle, not repairable. If it were 15 degrees, totally fine. 16, that's just too much. Door propulsion, hydraulics punctured by small arms fire. This door requires heavy maintenance. Okay, I mean, I am curious what's over here to the right, though. Wait, is this the... Oh, right is where we came from. Okay, so what is... That is a door we can go through.
Here. I'm almost at the stasis pods. Ah, blasted. No power for elevators.
Vidaria, cut the elevator's mag locks. If the arc's like ours, you can climb down the shaft.
Good idea. Thanks, ma'am.
That one made me jump a bit. And I nearly just chomped down on my tongue. Very close call. That one would have hurt. But okay. Again, yeah, it's embracing the horror themes a bit, which, I mean, usually I'm not really a horror movie or anything like that kind of guy, but when done properly, I mean, in large part that's because I find that many times it's just sloppily done and it's just ridiculous.
What's this?
What the heck?
The nameplate says Matriarch Ishara, the pathfinder who died.
That's not good. Also, this is really creepy the way that they set this up. But,
No Matriarch Ashara?
Only by reputation. She was a diplomat, very wise and respected, and the Ket took her away. Oh, it must be eating Sarissa up inside.
Alright, so is there going to be some kind of decision later on in this mission at the very end where we're going to have to decide, do we rescue the Matriarch Ashara person because she is so important and powerful / capable, and so we would really want to have her alive and well and able to contribute toward the initiative, or, you know, do we save a larger group of less important people instead? That's the direction that I expect this to go in. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of horror stuff in general, because I find that oftentimes it's just kind of lazy, you know, just everything is a jump scare, and everything else is like, you have to throw all logic out the window, and it kind of just expects you to be a complete idiot. You're like, oh no! Whatever is happening over there in this dark, lonely hallway where there's some kind of mysterious sound? One moment will I just go over there by myself in the middle of the night to investigate with no way for other people to check in on me. What could possibly go wrong? It's like, okay, any rational person would not do what you just did. But, you know, when done properly, I guess I can see the appeal. Probably still wouldn't definitely still would not call myself a horror person, but
They really packed people in.
A lot of Asari think communal living is cozy.
You're not one of them?
Hell no. Give me personal space and stuff space.
But yeah, I think that's in some ways why, despite not, like, I never play horror games for, I guess, not necessarily for that reason per se, but just because it's not something that I actively seek out. It's not really something that I particularly enjoy in a vacuum. But I think the Asari Matriarch, or rather Asari Monastery mission in Mass Effect 3 is just really well executed, and therefore one of my favorite missions, and is in many ways the thing that I'm thinking of when I've said many times before, the reason why I'm not yet doing multiplayer for Andromeda is because I don't want to have some kind of dramatic major enemy reveal get spoiled from just having them randomly show up unceremoniously in multiplayer. So, I mean, it's, for it to be reminding me of that mission is a compliment in many ways. This holographic coloring book is set to a simple image of a farm. Someone has scribbled in colors and drawn Thessian animals. Scrawls on one side read, My farm. Plant seeds, watering can, feed them lots of hay. Mummy says we have to go on a ship again. Mummy says I have to be brave. I don't want to be brave. I want to be a farmer. Oh. Yep. So, there were children here as well. And we don't know what their fate was, but might not have been great, given the way everything has gone here thus far. And we've never really seen an Asari child in the entire Mass Effect franchise, have we? Because, I mean, the Asari obviously live to be in and around 1,000, if not more, and so, generally speaking, that means when we see an Asari, they're at least 100 years old. Like, is Liara actually the youngest Asari we ever see / meet in the entirety of the Mass Effect franchise? Possibly, yeah. I don't remember if anyone in Andromeda has said that they're younger than that. But, yeah, seeing, like, a toddler Asari, I don't think we've ever seen that happen. Childcare rotation. Arc Lucidia, emergency childcare. Forward to anyone not on the main list. Bellas. I can take the twins and Mohia tonight. We're camped by the emergency lighting, so Mohia will have her nightlight. Judiri. Because the Takasts and Zali got called for evac early, there's leftover cleanup supplies and food in the red cooler. Remember, if you need diaper bags, there's sterile cleanup bags in the washroom cabinets. Break the locks if you have to. Day 10, still going strong. Thana. So yeah, there are little Asari kids here. Somebody's got to take care of them. Actually, thinking more about that, the fact that there are, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, actually. On one hand, obviously, if you're trying to build a colony in another galaxy, at some point, absolutely, you are going to have children to expand the population and grow and develop more of the galaxy. On the other hand, at this point in time, most people are in cryosleep, and the only people who have been awakened are those who serve a specific, meaningful purpose for the relatively short-term things that need to happen to get this ship from the Milky Way to Andromeda, and then, in the more recent history, maybe they woke up a few people who could help address the current emergency that they have on their hands. So why would a very young toddler Asari, who needs to be constantly taken care of and cannot directly contribute toward the furtherance of the Andromeda Initiative at the current stage that the Asari arc is in, why were they ever awakened from cryosleep? So that makes no sense, the more I think about it. Alright, let's see. From Rodera Fieris. Making the big jump soon. Leaving all my love and best wishes. Go ahead and share out my stasis locker. Can't take it, can't worry about it. We'll find help. Promise. Rodera. Okay, that's not something we can loot. Alright. It's mostly just context. What the various people here were going through. And it's not great. Okay, this is weird. But it looks like from our map that this is a big open area, but it's very narrow and windy. Which again is very horror-like.
So many people crammed in, waiting, hearing the emergency alarms. The Ket did that to them.
Okay, let's see. So let's see. You're out of stasis because you were needed on deck early. What's happening? From Sarissa. Okay, and that's the bodyguard who is now the Pathfinder? If I'm getting all the names correctly? It's one of the big people. Either that or the captain. You're out of stasis because you were needed on deck early. So again, why did they release a toddler from stasis? Because they definitely would not be someone who's needed on the deck at this stage. Unfortunately, you now need to adapt to a very different scenario than was expected. To avoid rumor spreading, this is the situation. We are under attack by a hostile species. Diplomatic overtures were rejected and will not be repeated. Regrettably, our matriarch Ashara died attempting negotiations. I have reluctantly taken on her role as pathfinder, but cannot replace her. We must deviate from our intended course and attempt to lose the enemy before our rendezvous with the Nexus. With Captain Atandra's approval, I've authorized a general evacuation order as we revive civilians. Meanwhile, I guess that's the only explanation. I guess if you're feeling generous, you would say the reason why the toddler, or why is the toddler going to the Andromeda Galaxy in the first place if they're not going to immediately serve a purpose, or relatively short-term purpose for the Andromeda Initiative because they are dead weight for the time being. But yeah, basically, they were awoken from stasis so that they could evacuate onto some escape pod. I guess is, if you're feeling generous, the rationale for that. But with the approval, authorized general evacuation order as we revive civilians. Meanwhile, commando forces and our survey ship, the Perifona, will perform necessary divisionary actions to try to distract them, the cat. I will not understate the seriousness of our position. I won't underestimate your skills either. I have faith in you. Theris, Pathfinder. And then regrets. To Ria Yanakis. We've heard that name, but I just don't have a great sense yet of locking in, okay, this person does this thing, and that's why we're hearing their name continue to pop up. So for the last time, I'm not shutting up. I want to sleep dreaming of new worlds and woke to fire and screaming and people huddled in dormitories. And they won't let us back into stasis. We're supposed to just crash land on a barren planet in some teeny tiny escape pod, like that's gonna be better? I want what was promised. What I gave them my money and my life for, and I'm not going to stop trying to get answers. Okay, and again, this is like, we've seen this time and time again, and it is so frustrating, for me at least, where it's like, people just don't understand the big picture. Like, I get it, you paid money to be here, and you sacrificed your life, or you committed everything to this trip. However, this is not the time for nitpicky complaints. I wanted to go here instead. You're in a life-threatening situation. The most important thing is that you find a way to get yourself out of that life-threatening situation. So, can you put aside your complaints for a moment and find a way to focus on what actually matters right now, and that is staying alive. Just like the complete lack of self-awareness for lots of people. Basically, the entire group that rebelled from the Nexus, same idea. Like, how do you think it's gonna be better? You just complained. You got a little too worked up about some things not going your way. The administrative procedures were not to your liking, and so you branched off and made things exponentially worse by trying to do it all yourselves when
The cat brought their pets.
when we already didn't have enough people to begin with. I see you. What did I say about
Really,
invisible
these
wraiths?
got aboard after the children left.
Being the first enemies we'd encountered. Granted, we fought Ket in a previous encounter. But at some point, they were going to be the opening troops. Ones that would sneak up on us, and that much did prove to be true. Okay, so we're supposed to go in there, but that means we should totally check what's over here.
Whoa, hear that?
I hear the music changing. I hear our squad mates suggesting that there are enemies here. But I don't see the enemies on this occasion, even if they are wraiths. I don't know where they are. I was gonna go through here. Now I'm gonna wait until I have cloak back, and then I'm gonna do it. But that was not the way I wanted that to play out. I'm assuming that there's just... And oh, yeah. Right on the other side of this door. Okay. Chosen. Hello, other cat dudes.
What were they up to?
Looking for a nicer room? Good luck, buddy.
That's a very big container. Well, this is the first guys to actually drop loot directly off their bodies. That is not lootable, but you'd have to think by going a little further, taking on some extra enemies, we'll get some kind of reward from this. Some high-value salvage. I guess that is something. Oh, what's this, though? Can scan it. We did get a little bit of research from it. Ration crate. Oh, they were taking all the food? This is where they were. Content manifest currently lists 2 out of 25 instant soup mix. Everyone's taking all the vac-sealed bread substitute. A little bit left of the Olantha protein paste. And all the water bottles and purification tablets are gone. A standard emergency ration crate. Scan that? No. Okay. So those were the 2 enemies that our squad mates were reacting to. This is where we were actually supposed to go.
Vidaria again. 2 Ket were trying to mess with the stasis pods. Not anymore.
Good work. Remember Sarissa's manuals. Stay low.
I will. The pods are safe. I'll keep tracking that power drain.
Okay. Just casually kick around the chairs while we're at it. Alright. No immediate signs of enemies, but this may very well be a spot where they will appear.
Looks bad. Why isn't the fire suppression system engaged?
You're asking that question
Either
now?
insufficient power, or the explosion damaged fire control.
We could fix that if we find the controls.
Yeah, or we
And
could...
then reach whatever's draining power without getting singed.
I mean, yeah, right? Like, we're saying this as someone who has used our flamethrower nonstop, right? Like, oh, here, one moment. Don't mind us as we help you put out all this fire, right? Everything's fine. Nothing a little more fire can't solve. Oh, you're having an issue with fire? Here, let me just throw some more fire on it. Yeah, everything's good, right? Oh. Well, that's not good, though. I also like how every single one of them is 41% with its integrity. Like, I get that it's a recycled description, but at the same time, you could at least change the number on it. One of these ones is going to be on 42%. It's going to make me look silly. Like, oh, just to see if you were paying attention. Just to see if you were paying attention. You know there's going to be enemies at some point.
The Ket saw me. I am trapped in an air vent.
That's not good.
Ready your biotics and pick them off as they pass.
But they'll hear.
You're a huntress, a silent predator.
Okay. Going silent.
Alright, good luck. I'm gonna see if we can tell if there are wraiths there, but I cannot determine. Oh, we can see a power line. That's a first in here. Okay, I mean, it is headed to the door. Okay. Secure fire control. There are definitely enemies now. Hey, pal. How's it going, buddy? Wish we had enough firepower to take you out in that first clip, but... Oh, hello. About to say, maybe we did still luck out and it didn't initiate the entire fight, but I don't think... I don't think it quite worked out that way for us. That was also very much supposed to set off an explosion, and it did not.
Watch out overhead!
What? Are we gonna get the big baddie this time? The mini-boss? Oh, There are still more of them. Let's just walk into the fire. One moment, sir. I would like to take this angle of approach. Okay, apparently we've secured the area.
The fire suppression controls over there.
Reactivate fire suppression. Okay, let's take a quick moment here to loot up.
Hit the fire controls, and we can.
All right, well, one moment.
Get this out.
One moment. Patience, Cora. I mean, yeah, like, sure, there are probably people whose lives depend on us doing this promptly, but they can wait. They can wait, right? Like, who knows? Maybe scanning to see if this is the one debris that has 42% structural integrity. Also, this power junction is probably important. Though this power junction is in working order, system components appear to have been removed. That's not good. This is gonna say we can't do it unless we fix that.
Yeah, that's fried.
Ironic.
The electrical junction is damaged. I recommend searching for an alternative.
Okay, well, I mean, can't help but feel like.
Whatever this powers, the Ark needs fire control more. There, let's try again.
Can't help but feel like we should have just gotten that immediately. And now we did check
power
that.
is rerouted. You may now trigger fire suppression.
All right, let's do it.
That should cool us off.
Until we flame her again.
I got the kit. They got me back, but I'm okay.
Nice work.
And with the hangar shut, I managed to track the real power train. Here's the nav point. I'll see you there.
Okay, that's... They're doing something. You know, that they're mining their Bitcoin,
Captain
right?
Tundra here. We're warming up the drive core, but we need more juice.
We're on it, Captain.
Good. The Valiant ship is still out there somewhere.
Yeah, so you
We've
know...
lost so many, and Matriarch Ashara. It can't be for nothing.
So you know that Valiant is overseeing the Bitcoin mining operation down there? Trying to add all that to their portfolio? Well, that's lovely. I mean, we did redirect power, I suppose. Rolling brownouts to be expected. Oh, what is? Gives us a tiny bit of research. Armor maintenance station. Power consumption, it's a small amount. Maximum 5 hard suits. VI, autosync offline, repair analysis offline. This maintenance station, commonly used by Asari Commando's units, is currently inactive. I mean, I feel like we could use some armor stations. Yeah, the presence of ammo packs and what have you does make me suspicious.
Some engineer left before she could clean up her workbench.
These components were taken from Arc systems, including power distribution.
Oh.
Explains the problems we're having. What could be worth gutting the Ark?
Okay, yeah, this is just a side room, as I initially anticipated, but it does seem like this could be important. Okay, so this is from Gianna Jedin, which I don't think is a name that we've heard before. Column still down. Doing this the old-fashioned way. We cannot finish the evac with Deck 12 in that condition. The last Ket barrage sheared the hull plating. No atmosphere, and it's hanging by a thread. I've got 100 people trapped on the other side, and not enough suits. There's children. Bell, I can't make that call. I won't. So we'll have to instead. I'm gonna have to decide whether to save... This is exactly what I was saying before, right? We're gonna have to decide whether to save one or at least a small number of very important people versus, on the other hand, saving either a larger number of people who have less potential to contribute toward the initiative in the immediate future, or they're just children, so it's gonna, try to make you feel guilted into saving them, even though they are not actually gonna make that much of a difference for the initiative right now, which we need to be thinking very short term at the moment, because if we don't, then we are just all going to die. Oh, was there another entry there, though? Let's see. Lieutenant Colon Jackson, which I think is also one that we've not seen. Headed off Ark soon to give these Kett something to chase. Our gear got shot in our last encounter, but old habits made me stick it all in recharge. Do me a favor and keep it away from the civvies, would you? No sense someone coming all this way and then shooting themselves in the foot. Just doesn't want a civilian to pick up a gun that's in disrepair and cause themselves physical harm. Right, scratch pad. Assistant Engineer Lapirus to call. Deck 12 hull plating sheared. Atmosphere was vented. No time for personnel to weld. So this is what I'm saying. You would 1,000% need to do this before you ever try to throw this thing into high gear. Otherwise, you're just going to make the damage way worse and everyone else gets spaced. So the whole approach we're taking right now does not make sense. Still important, don't get me wrong, but you need to fix the more general structural integrity of this thing before it's going anywhere. Okay, so 100 plus trapped. No suits, no time, can't be done. Can be done, no one else dies today. Want to grab the Kett by the throat and shake them. Keep dreaming. Skinny. Or keep dreaming, Skinny. Should have been a huntress. Grab. Grab! Hold the deck plating in place. Not airtight, but enough for breathers. Solved. Okay, so an engineer in that case, I think they were saying, trying to make the best of a bad situation. Asari sword is fitting. In fact, I think we might have actually had... that is, I think, the weapon we're using right now for melee, but we probably have a level 6 version of it currently equipped, whereas we can't switch that right now, can we? We can't just, like, throw on a higher level version? No? So this does confirm for you. There it is. We're currently using a 6. We have a couple of 7s. Well, unfortunate, but hopefully it's not a big enough difference one level to the next. Okay, and just from a brief glance at the map.
What is it?
It's like nails on glass. Ugh.
What? What is? Is it some Asari specific thing that the Kett did to mess with them? It doesn't affect us. This looked like a big room, though. So I'm expecting this to be where the main confrontation happens. Meet Vidaria. Again, I'm not really remembering what all the names are.
Looks like an observation deck.
For observing the mess they made of the place?
People must have evacuated from the deck beyond.
Okay, now that's the Asari friend
Ryder,
we made a little while ago.
here.
Okay, it's not like we're... It's not as if the Cardinal person is hanging out there, although I imagine they are about to hop in for a dramatic entrance and pop by for some fun. To spoil our fun, really. Okay. Go in there at the moment. There's escape pod areas. Oh, hold on. We are in the observation deck. We must observe. That doesn't look good. Alright. There's ammo and everything in here as well, so... Again, I'm thinking something's gonna go down in this very room in all likelihood. Okay, let's... Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that is where we came in. Okay. I think we've just about scanned everything except for the second floor, which I did not immediately see. So this is where they're gonna come in from, right? Gonna hit us from above once again. Hey, what's up?
Thank the goddess, you're all right. Here, this is what's draining the power.
And then she gets stabbed by
What
the
is this thing?
Cardinal.
It looks like the Kett attack sheared off some hull plating. Then someone rigged up this Mass Effect field device. The field's so strong, it holds the hull together. It would help people evacuate the deck beyond.
Okay, I mean, that does sound like a very good idea. Explains the headaches Because of the Mass Effect fields?
And give anyone sensitive to Mass Effect fields a
I
nasty
see.
migraine.
No kidding. But they'd survive.
That deck's deserted now. We have to turn the device off.
I tried pulling the plug, but nothing. Can you scan it? Maybe your Sam can figure it out.
Alright. This thing?
The
Say no
device
more.
requires 2 people for shutdown. One disconnecting the cables, and another at the device itself.
I'll handle the device.
Caution. Once begun, the failsafe cycle must be completed, or the device will fuse.
Will fuse? Okay, well, you know they're gonna start showing up. As in, the cat. As soon as we start doing this. Also, the description of this thing went away before I could actually read it. But, alas. Wait, where? What the? Huh? There are 3 separate ones. Okay. So are the Ket gonna show up while we're doing all these devices like Mass Effect 3 multiplayer?
Ready, Vidaria? Disconnecting the first cable now.
So we should do the toughest one first, which might be this. I don't know.
Cat!
How did I
We'll
know?
handle them.
But we need you, Vidaria. You can do this.
But you ran away. What the heck, man? What the heck? So maybe not a great time to be losing cloak. Hey, pal. Don't mind us. Just gonna chill here for a second. And then play me to death. Oh, look, the
Watch the glass. Don't bother! We've got mag boots, they don't!
wraiths were nice as well. We have mag boots and they don't. That seems like critical oversight from them.
They're down. Okay, next cable, ready when you are.
Alright, so they're gonna get progressively more difficult as we go on here. But either way, we did the top one first, which may or may not have been the right move. That one's possibly the most out in the open. This one's, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit more in a corner. I don't know, man. We'll go for this one next. We saved this entire mission? No, but then again, as has often been the case, I don't even know if we can save.
Second cable. We're getting there.
Can't at the moment, at least.
More Ket. Take them down.
Above, I assume?
How many came aboard?
How many came aboard? A large number, I'd be willing to bet. Actually, you're not up here, or at least kind of not up here. But fortunately, they did line up perfectly for this. That's 3 for 1, which I do like. On the other hand, there are still more. Are they gonna somehow fit a behemoth in here? Even though that makes no sense. That's not great. That's better. Where's this other person shooting us from? Ah, you're here.
All right, now the cable.
Alright, one moment. Anyone else drop anything nice? Yes. Yes. Except not really something. I mean, technically we are using a sniper rifle, so I shouldn't say that that's completely useless, but. Okay. Third and final one. That second group of enemies seemed pretty similar to the first one. We did kill several relatively quickly by lining them up with a nice 3 for 1 flamer, but this one might be tougher since it is the last. So if they have a brute, or if...
Another attack. They're desperate, Ryder. This must be the last of them.
Yep. If this is going to be when and where the big baddie shows up, then this will be the time for it to happen, of course. Don't know if there's a more dramatic time for them to make their appearance, though. No, this is not where I want it to be. I want it to be in cover, as it turns out. Believe it or not.
This is their last stand. Break through.
Oh, hello. Hello there, sir. Fancy seeing you here. Oh, that sounded big, whatever that was. the shotgun wielder. Oh, that was interesting. The physics there. Yes, there's someone over here.
The Kett are down.
The device
Not
can
bad.
now be deactivated.
Alright. Not too bad. Right. Won't actually let us read anymore what it's all about, but alright.
That noise. It's gone.
Oh.
If anyone asks, it was like that when we got here.
It's Captain Atandra. Ryder, the drive core is coming online. You did it. A few minutes, and we're out of here.
Alright, I mean, there is a hole in your arc. As I said before, I feel like this is a critical component that you have not really addressed thus far.
Can we still go to FTL if there's, say, a big hull breach down here?
The maneuver I've planned should hold us together.
What?
If the FTL burn doesn't,
What?
we'll have to cope.
What?
Teresa here. Superb work, all of you. We're almost
The
home.
specific way that we're maneuvering should make it totally fine. Don't worry about it.
It's really over. I should go and help. There might be something I can do.
But one moment while I dramatically reveal that I'm actually the Cardinal. I can shapeshift.
You helped save this whole arc.
I mean, surely that's
Not bad for your first
person's
big
going to
mission.
show up at some point, right?
Sarissa should be proud, Vidaria. You'll be one hell of a commando. You'd know, Lieutenant. Thank you for everything. Goddess guide you.
Pathfinder. Restoring power has freed up a data cache. It includes the succession log from Matriarch Ishara.
Hmm?
Can you access it?
Forget the data. I need you. The barrier's collapsing.
Ishara, they'll tear the Ark apart. That data is the only thing that might buy us time.
Cat reinforcements approaching, Pathfinder Ishara.
Sarissa, my Samcat. Tiamno, please.
I have to save them, even if I can't save. Forgive me.
So Sarissa chose to save other people beside, basically everyone except for the Pathfinder is what we're to make of that?
Tiamna used to mean guardian of temples, a champion who stayed faithful even when all was lost. Sarissa left her to die.
And so now we need to say, did she make the right decision to save other people rather than us being the person to make this decision? Someone else already did it for us. The bodyguard person made that decision, and we need to comment on whether we think that was the right choice or not. So, did she mess up? Or was it a necessary choice to be made? I mean, sure, it meant the death of a matriarch, which is a pretty big deal. But, I mean, you could certainly make a case either way.
Sarissa was forced to choose between her Pathfinder and her Ark. She made the right call.
Look around. Does this look like a right call?
If we still manage to save the Ark, then yes.
Damn it all, Ryder. What do I do?
First, we...
Fight the Cardinal is what we do first. We're not getting out here without fighting.
The Cat Hunters blindsided us. They have a dropship headed for the breach on Deck 12.
How long until we have FTL?
Too long. Sarissa's coming to help. Push him back.
Helmets on, people.
Are we fighting them in here? Or this Deck 12 area instead? Okay, now granted there were some areas that we were not previously allowed to go into. Oh! Okay, that did sound rather dramatic, although I would kind of like to see if we can go into those rooms that were previously locked off to us. Which I know is probably not what should be our top priority at the moment, but I do want to at least check. No? No? Alright. Well, an effort was made. Okay. Now we can go through here.
Caution. The Mass Effect field device is still connected. Remotely triggering it may affect local gravity.
Could be
Oh.
useful.
0 Gs? I mean, that might make biotics more powerful. That is a thing that has existed in at least one mission in Mass Effect 3. Is that reason to switch over to our biotic setup? Get to deck 12. Optional trigger Mass Effect field. I mean, we have to, right? If we have the option of deactivating gravity, better bet we're doing it. Make that the primary. Does it give us extra experience? Okay, let's get over there. There are enemies here. This is where the major encounter is going to take place.
Keep your mag boots active.
And watch the giant hole!
There's a giant hole somewhere? Okay, where is the optional thing that I cloaked deliberately to try to access? It is below us. We are potentially going to die because I went down here.
Everyone hang on!
Everything is fine because we have mag boots and they don't, for reasons that are not immediately clear to me. Also, the fact that I just attempted to flame Cora when she very much was not the enemy that I wanted to focus on. Also, because we're in a semi-vacuum, sound is muffled, I guess. I haven't really tried jumping yet, which I should probably do. All right, so you know the final wave is going to be the big baddie, right? Maybe not quite yet. It is also really hard to tell. It's weird how much of danger we are in because I perhaps don't realize it when we have normal conditions.
Sarissa's almost there. Don't let up.
But that is perhaps something that I'm using for feedback in many ways to understand when and where we are being attacked by a bunch of peoples. Yep. There you are.
Must be the Valiant himself.
Take him down.
I mean, does he have friends that keep on respawning? Ooh, I would like to get up here. Because if so, then we could get rid of them, but we may have gotten rid of everybody. This is not a great place to be trying to fight you from.
The Asari thief hides behind her minions. She is their puppeteer. She will be judged as they are.
Hello. Are you just gonna chill here the entire time? It's this is kind of obnoxious for Flamer, because it means that I do kind of need to be hanging up here with you this entire time.
None escapes the decimation's reach.
Again, the super tanky orb thing, which is about to hit us. And the other thing is that sound changes when our shield goes down. And so I think that might be one of the main things that I'm noticing.
Shut the hell up.
Just look at how much less health the actual enemy has compared to the shieldy orb thing. Which is, I mean, as I said previously, the first thing really that I noticed when we fought our first one of these guys, but ow. It's noticeable there as well. Okay, I guess we're gonna have to deal with you. That was not ideal on several levels. You're shooting that at someone. Oh, hello. Alright, I guess we'll just do a little switcheroo. Oh, hello, hello, he's right next to us. The other pal, the machine gun. I assume this guy respawns? I don't know. Hey, friend. So, you know, oh! Targeting him may or may not be all that helpful in truth. Yeah, are you just gonna continue to... Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's your thing. You hang out up here. You absolutely just hang out up here. Oh, that's headed presumably in our general direction. I would like to, yup, be up here in time to get you when we have this brief window. Is that their actual reaction to the fiery stuffs? I'm not sure that we've really seen that in the past. Oh. Okay, shield is back up. That's obviously headed in this direction because everyone is lined up for you. It does seem like, after getting rid of your friends, it's now just you, and you aren't actually going to get other people to respawn. So I guess that is nice. Obviously, I could be using more of our actual weapon, but especially because we get a very large damage bonus when we're on a full clip of ammo, and we have spec'd much more into our flamer than we have spec'd into our weapon setup. Oh, there's one exception. There you go. We'll get the kill with it.
Forget capture! Launch everything! Kill the owl!
Please don't. Oh. Alright, let's not get carried away here. Or you could throw him out the airlock. Oh, he wasn't kidding.
Like the Battle of Kirkus, there's still a chance.
Are you gonna sacrifice yourself in some way? Oh? Yeah, there's no way your bubble, which is not even covering this whole thing, is gonna magically protect the entire ship. Mass Effect 2, The Long Walk, anyone? Witcher 3, Battle of Kaer Morhen, anyone? Okay, now that's... I'd like to believe in the power of my squad mates, but at the same time, that's ridiculous.
Captain, get us out of here!
Like, what?
Punching it. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. They've been able to do that the whole time. As we've seen them demonstrate on several prior occasions, right? It's no big deal.
A skeleton crew, but enough to patch up the Ark. She'll make it to the Nexus. Whatever it cost.
You need to talk to Sarissa about Ashara's message.
I wanted to thank you both. That was exemplary work. I'm proud to...
Ma'am? Sarissa? We know about Ashara.
The log survived. Then her final moments won't be lost.
You deserted your Pathfinder. You should be better than...
I chose protecting all these people over a single life. The choice they train us to make, Lieutenant.
But you didn't tell anyone.
Because then you wouldn't be their shining hero. And maybe that's how it should be.
Right. Alright. Saw
Being
this
a
angle coming.
Pathfinder means giving them hope. Ryder, you know this, don't you?
So, I agree with Sarissa's argument in this case, that, especially because we have someone who is theoretically at least somewhat capable of stepping in to fill the role of Pathfinder. You know, it'd be one thing if we lose the Pathfinder and there's no one to take their role, so there's just never going to be a Pathfinder for the Asari, and that's going to be a huge blow to the contributions the Asari could make to the Andromeda Initiative as a whole. But we have someone who has done that. You know, say what you will about Sarissa, given how she maybe, through some backhanded channels, manipulated things to make it so that she became Pathfinder. But at the end of the day, we do have a Pathfinder, and we have however many people that Sarissa saved by sacrificing the original Pathfinder. So, I do think in the past I made the argument that was kind of the opposite of this, that, you know, you should prioritize saving the Pathfinder, but I think that was when it was a much smaller number of people on the other end that we were sort of weighing against saving the Pathfinder, and it was also the significance of those people was seemingly a lot less, or mostly I guess numbers, because I think in this case, you know, we haven't really heard that, like, oh, well, these are all the engineers who are going to help to repair the ship, and without doing that, then we would not be able to make it into FDL anyway, and so we'd be doomed here. But I think more so, there was not a clear line of succession for the Pathfinder for the Solarian, so basically, if we did not rescue the Solarian Pathfinder, then it was not obvious that they would have a Pathfinder at all, and that would be a huge loss to the Solarian. So again, key difference here being, although we don't have the original Pathfinder, we have a Pathfinder. So that's saying a lot. So... Okay. And this is not just a matter of do we support the decision that Sarissa made. It's more so, should this be public information or not? Okay. I think it should probably be public. Yeah, it's gonna make people not terribly thrilled about Sarissa, but it's gonna make some enemies for Sarissa, but at the same time, you know, at the end of the day is probably for the best, and just some hard conversations will ensue, I'm sure, but probably should be done.
They need to hear the truth. Let them handle it.
If they can't handle it, then you need to find, well,
Ryder,
basically to find a really good way to explain this.
Don't do this.
Alright, now that's extremely sketchy, though.
Sorry, but we need to prep for the Nexus approach. We've got a hell of a story for them.
There's more. Sarissa chose retrieving the Ket data over saving Ishara's life. Our Sam found the succession log.
It could be one thing if she owned up to it, but the fact that she's like, no, don't do it, it's immediately way more suspicious.
Ideas got Ishara
The
killed.
Ket killed her. I had to be sure the Ark could escape them.
And we did, again and again, while they hunted us down. It's only dumb luck that Ryder found us. Who's next in line?
Oh, snap.
Vidaria. Maybe a pathfinder with some humility.
Vidaria was good.
You can look to Ryder's example.
A little timid at the beginning, but she'll do fine. And we have to choose. Okay, now we choose between the two of them. So, Sarissa, more experienced, certainly more combat ready, but made some questionable decisions. I mean, again, I do actually kind of stand by the decision that she made, but at the same time, there was probably some protocol that she very much did not follow, as people were saying. She didn't tell anyone. Granted, not really sure how easy it is to phone up your boss in the middle of the heat of battle when you're being chased down by a whole bunch of Ket, but still, your actions do need to have consequences, and if it's a matter of, do we just think Vidaria is or is not capable? I mean, she showed pretty well in that mission there.
I worked out okay. Vidaria will find her feet.
I defended you against the Ket.
So did Vidaria.
Vidaria can't face them. She's not...
A huntress without the trust of her team. Stands alone. She is a tree in the desert, bearing only defiance.
My own words, Lieutenant.
They're true, ma'am.
Alright, so she's not going to be happy with this, of course, but...
Let's go. They're safe. That's all that matters now.
Probably still, in the big picture, the best move. Also, Ryder cannot stand still. Alright, I assume that means we leveled?
Hey,
that's
you okay?
Can I just do today over again?
Huh?
And not have a Pathfinder stripped of everything she loves?
Hey, we did the right thing.
I put so much faith in Sarissa. But the Asari were just as lost as we are.
We're not lost. So again, some question as to whether, like in Mass Effect 2 for loyalty missions, is it possible to actually fail the missions or, finish the mission but not actually gain the loyalty of a squad mate? And so I don't know, because at least with Liam, we seem to succeed in that sense, but I'm not loving the tone and direction that Cora seems to be taking this right now, because it might be headed down that path, so we're not lost. Look on the bright side.
We know our mission. I think we're finding our way pretty well.
Should have known better than to say that to a Pathfinder. Thank you for being there, on the Lucinia. Can I tell you something?
Sure. Nancy Elusive Man?
The old man was right to choose you as Pathfinder instead. I don't blaze a trail. I always look for the mentor, their plan.
All right, she was originally supposed to be the Pathfinder. I kind of forgot about that.
My mistakes would be worse than Sarissa's.
Oh, yeah, that, admittedly, that angle was lost on me a little bit during that mission, that this is very similar to the situation that she herself found herself. Okay, you know what? I like it. I like the mission, then. I think, as I said before, it reminded me a bit of the Asari, Monastery mission in Mass Effect 3, which is one of my favorite missions from Mass Effect 3. And I think that is actually... I will praise Andromeda when it does a good job with this stuff. I've been very critical of it at times, for sure, when the writing has been poor. But the parallels between Sarissa's story and Korra's story, that was well done. And admittedly, I did not catch all of that when it first happened. But yes, a lot of parallels where the original Pathfinder dies. And granted, that has happened in a lot of cases. But original Pathfinder dies, which is what happened for the humans. Person who was originally supposed to be next in line, Sarissa, in the case of the Asari, and Korra, for the case of the humans, something goes not exactly according to plan, and somebody else who is not expected to become the Pathfinder becomes the Pathfinder, and that's how we're in our current role, and now that's also what happened with the Asari as well. So you can see how it's a little more personal for Korra than perhaps I was initially giving it credit for, because there's a lot of things that would probably make her think back to her own situation. So let's see. As Pathfinder, my mistakes would be worse than Sarissa's. You've done great things. You're twice the woman she is. Ouch. Ouch on Sarissa, but, like you. Anyway, no, we're not going the romance route. Maybe that's true. Ouch. No, you've done great things.
You defended us on Habitat 7, found the Asari Ark, and fought the Ket, all without being a Pathfinder.
That's just my job.
And you're really good at it.
Look, neither of us chose this, but maybe we both ended up where we needed to be, even if we lost your father. But it's happened. If you can't outrun it, gotta use it.
What did you...
What?
He said something like that once. Still true.
That's not really
I need to think
nearly as profound a phrase
but
as
I'll
you
be okay.
made it out to be.
And on deck whenever you need me.
Loyalty earned. Nice. Unlocked role model. Okay. Ryder has earned Korra's loyalty. Korra's rank 6 skills are now unlocked. And any questions about whether we fully succeeded on Korra's mission or not are now answered. So we can take a deep breath. Rest easy on that one. See if Korra has anything to say in response to all that.
Hi there.
But not really.
See you later, Korra.
I'll be here.
Okay. So I believe we did level up to 54 now. So we have some points, although I think we'd probably like to... I guess technically when we're on the Tempest, we can spec everyone here. Then again, basically everyone is in the same situation where I believe we have... except for maybe Vetra. We've spent all their points up to rank 5, and then we can't use rank 6 until we've completed their loyalty missions. Liam we have, and now Korra we have. Vetra, though, what's your deal? Why do you not have... Didn't we totally invest in Concussive Shot a little while ago when we saw that we had not spent all the points on Vetra, but maybe we accidentally X'd out of it and didn't confirm? Alright, I mean, I think we'll still wait until next time we're going out with Vetra on a mission, and that might be very soon, because she is also a squad mate, for whom we have access to their loyalty mission. So now, let's see, I imagine we should have this ready to go now. A lot of stuff for that now. Did we have a we're fine. We're fine. Strike teams. You need another half hour? Oh yeah, and so... I mean, I deliberately dialed back on the number that I was doing in between streams, but I forget, at the end of last time around, did I say... while we're directly in-game, are we still allowing ourselves to do all of them? Or are we still just restricting ourselves to golds? We might, at least for now, might still want to restrict ourselves to golds. Okay, there we go. You're a good match there. You, I don't think are going to have a good one, because this is not a set of stuff you can specialize in, and our generalists are currently occupied with that mission, so only once they're done will we have our preferred team for this one. Okay, technically still don't have anything there. Alright, let's check our email real quick, because I don't know if we're going to get anything.
Pathfinder, you have new email.
I know that we are going to get something there, perhaps from Cora. Oh, what is this? From Jal. I received an update on Axul. It isn't good. Please come see me in my room. So, of course, Axul and the Rokar very recently attacked Eos, and we didn't, well, I guess technically we didn't fight Axul directly on that occasion, but he gave us some indications that he was going to seek revenge, and perhaps that is about to happen. Alright, let's see. This is more what I was expecting to see. Thank you, from Cora. I mean it. Thank you. Still sorting through everything, but it's easier since we talked. Vidaria's going to need support. Sarissa casts a long shadow, and Vidaria's training isn't complete. Alright, Vidaria is the person who we chose to make the new Pathfinder, who is very inexperienced, but showed some promise, did show some potential. I'll see what I can do for her. I'm sure she'd like that. Like to chat with you, if you haven't already. She gonna be on the Nexus, then? Maybe? Meantime, let's hit some bad guys, shall we? POC? From PB? The creator? What? Have to say, feeling pretty good about myself. POC is the first thing I've made that I doubt I'll get tired of. And that's saying a ton, believe me. Someday, when we've got this REM tech all figured out, POC's gonna blow people's minds. Not sure why I decided to write this to you. A strange impulse, that. I'll have to noodle on it a bit. What? Okay, PB. Heading home from Lieutenant Hyderia. You know, that's a good question there. Remember me, Hyderia? Because that is exactly what I was asking myself as soon as I read that name. And the answer is no. We talked at that nice outpost of yours while I was taking care of our evacuees from our Ark. I'm afraid to say that does not narrow things down. Could you name which outpost or which Ark, perhaps? Not anymore, though. We're heading home. With the Lucinia back at the Nexus. Okay, so you're one of the Asari people that we just ran into. Alright. Then we definitely were... What? We talked to you at the outpost before we just went on this mission about your Ark, and yet you're now messaging me about a conversation that we didn't have about your Ark? Or we talked about the Ark even though we hadn't been there yet? Not anymore, though. We're heading home. With the Lucinia back at the Nexus, they've got the people and shuttles to get us back there. They're saying none of it would have happened without you. I believe them. Thank you for everything. Lieutenant Hyderia, Junior Officer Ark Lucinia. Is this the person who was on Eos? Who was basically one of, if not the first person that we spoke to when we were initiating the chain of missions that ultimately led to Cora's loyalty mission, but did not start that way. Technically it was at first just a more generic mission that was tied to the Ark and not yet with Cora's name on it.